There we go. I think we're on. Yep, there we are.
All right.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Happy Wednesday, and welcome to our live at 5 Pacific Standard Time. So we're really thankful that you're here.
Yep. Allison.
Excuse me.
Allison, Sean, Spoken Garden.
Spoken Garden.
If you don't know.
Yeah, this is us, and welcome to our backyard.
Yep.
So it's kind of cold out here tonight, so we're a little bundled up, but we're happy to be outside. We'd much rather be out here than inside in our indoor studio.
Yep. Yep. And we know you'd rather be outside too in your garden, but it's 5 o'clock, so we're going to do our live here, and today we're going to go over fall flowering plant care, and TLC.
You know, you might think that the season's over and, you know, your plants are just kind of, you know, you put pretty plants out in the pot and you're just going to let them do their thing. But you can actually prolong their life by keeping them healthy, and we're going to teach you some ways to do that.
Yeah, plus you're going to keep them up and keep them looking better. So it'll be a good thing. So cool. So some announcements. So we've got.
Do you have any announcements tonight? We're working on a pruning course.
Yep,
I don't know if we've mentioned that, but we would love to hear from you if this is something you'd be interested in, because we are getting a ton of questions from our beginning audience.
Yep.
And we've got our plan at this point is to get it out by this winter, early winter.
Yep. And we've also had a lot of activity on our free pruning email course.
Oh, we have.
And so there's been quite a few people signing up for that. So we'll put a link down in the show notes or down in the description just to get that out there if you're interested in that. But yeah, so we're going to have a winter pruning course coming up, and it's going to be ready to go right before the beginning of winter.
Yes,
so
we are
keep your eyes out for that.
Actively working on that. And the other thing that we've been seeing a lot of, and we're still personally doing ourselves, is bulb planting.
Yeah.
I know we've been talking about it a little bit, so we're kind of obsessed with bulbs as usual. We still have actually quite a few to plant, which we need to do soon. But we are getting questions and comments and things from you guys. So if there's questions that you have about fall bulbs or any planting specific things, we do have a small mini product that we're offering this year. We put it together because of all the questions we're getting. So we're going to drop that link in the chat, and we'll also have it down in the description if you're watching us on the replay.
Yep, 7 popular fall planted bulbs.
So that's super fun.
Yep.
We're also going to probably have one in the spring, so stay tuned for that, because who doesn't love spring planted bulbs? So I guess that's it for announcements.
Yeah.
So again, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat or hit us up in the description if you're watching this later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and if you're watching us later, make sure to put #replay in your response so we'll know that you watched later.
Oh, that's fun.
So, yeah, so.
Okay, let's get going.
Yeah, here we go.
We have some fun stuff to talk about tonight. So if you saw the little cover for this episode, you'll know some of the things we're going to cover. Do you want to go over those? Or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
So fall flowering plant care and TLC. So basically, we're going to talk to you tonight about how to care for your fall flowering plants, and then also how to give them a little TLC through the rest of the fall and into the winter, just to keep them growing, to keep them healthy, to keep them happy. So, yeah.
So there's so many great things you can do, and depending on where you live, you may have a really mild winter, so this may be something you can prolong into the early or mid-winter, right? But other zones you might be a little cooler and might not have too much more growing season left, but you can still try.
Yeah, as long as everything's growing healthily and flowering, you should just continue to care for them, and then when they're ready to be done for the season, you'll know.
Yeah, good point.
Or ask us. We can help you out with that.
So you can see we've got an assortment of plants around, and we're gonna introduce those as we work on them, and we'll show you what that means in a bit. But we're gonna cover deadheading, aerating, which is really important, and a lot of people don't think to do that in the fall and winter,
or in the spring and summer.
So that's a super important step. And then also fertilizing, which you wouldn't maybe think to do in the fall. You know, we were discussing this earlier. There's a lot of information out there that says don't do any more fertilizing, you don't want to stimulate growth, but
you want to keep the plants. But you want to keep the plants healthy. You want to keep them growing and growing healthily. You don't want them to put on a bunch of new growth, but you want them to actively have enough nutrients to stay healthy, to stay immune from diseases and pests out there. So that's what we're going to go over today. We're not going to tell you to put a bunch of fertilizer down into your plants or over around your plants to get them to continue to keep growing, because this time of year, if you do that, you run the chance of actually hurting the plant and having a lot of dieback, especially if they're herbaceous or if they're just fall flowering plants, like a lot of the ones you see here. So you don't want to put them, you don't want your plants to put on a lot of growth, but you want them to stay healthy. And that's what we're going to show you today.
That'll be great.
Yep.
So I think let's show the supplies. We've got everything ready here. We've got our new Corona snips, pruning snips, or they might also be called micro snips. I think that's what we're usually calling them. But these are awesome. They have this little cover on them, and these are just so sharp and tiny, and they're really easy and handy, and especially getting in tight, narrow places. These are a lot better than pruning shears, which are a little bit clunkier. So we'll be using those tonight, and we'll drop this link down below as well if you want to check these out.
Yeah, these are made by Corona.
Yes.
And we were just sent these. You might have saw us open up, do the unboxing
Yeah,
video.
unboxing.
So if you haven't, check it out. And previous videos, it was fun.
It was really fun. We love unboxings. Who doesn't, right? Okay, then we're using, for aerating tonight, we're going to use just this, what material is this?
So this is it's plastic coated metal stake.
Okay, so, and it has a little pointy end, so that'll be really helpful to get in, and we'll show you how to do that. And then what do we have?
We've got some fertilizer here. This is organic fertilizer, Dr. Earth. Good stuff. We use this around our yard. That's why you can see it's been open. Sorry, go ahead.
No, we love it, yeah.
This has a rating, it has a fertilizer numbers. There's usually 3 numbers. If you don't know, fertilizer has 3 numbers on the front of it. And it stands for NPK, always in that order. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. It's easy to get them mixed up because phosphorus and potassium start with both with P's.
Start with a P.
So, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So what we have here is a ratio of 4% in this. Let me back up. So each one of these numbers represent the percentage of that nutrient in this bag, in the whole contents of this bag of fertilizers. So right now there's 4% nitrogen, there's 6% phosphorus, and 5% potassium. And that's with each treatment that you use out of this bag to put down on your plants. When you go by the recommended dosage, the recommended rate of application, that's on the back. Always follow the label, okay? Label is the law. It's federal law. Just letting you know. So, okay. So these are very low numbers. So when you use a very low ratio number of fertilizer, you're not going to get a huge pump of growth out of a lot of your plants because these numbers are low. It's not like you're taking like adrenaline and sticking it into somebody and just being, okay, wake up, and here you go, you're gonna have all this energy. This small of a ratio, these small numbers aren't gonna do that to your plants. So they're just gonna take that in slowly because this is a natural type of fertilizer. It's not a synthetic. It's not readily available when it breaks down. This takes time to get into the soil. It takes time for the plant to uptake and then use, which is good because it's more natural than the synthetic ones, which are the ones that pump all those nutrients into your plants to give them that big flush of growth. This isn't going to do that, and that's a good thing.
And I hate to say, like, if you use this product, we're not trying to knock it in any way, but a synthetic example of a fertilizer would be like Miracle Grow. Yep. And that's our Osmocote, right?
Which isn't bad per se, but it is synthetic. So if you don't like synthetically made, what do you call them? Not synthetic, but man-made, or not man-made, because this is man-made.
It's just fake.
Artificial.
It's artificial.
It's artificial.
And
if
it's
you don't
Monsanto,
like that.
So we're like, boo.
Yeah.
But we always try to use organic whenever we can.
We totally do.
Always.
It's better for your plants, it's better for you, it's safer, and it's better for your garden. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to some deadheading. I think we'll just kind of go in order, you guys.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna set this down here.
Okay, so.
Oh, wait a minute, we're gonna use that, so I'll put that there.
So we'll start with this plant. If you've seen some of our previous videos, you've probably seen this before. This is our African daisy. We love it. Yeah, what else do we know about this? We're gonna do some deadheading.
African daisies in the daisy family. This is a semi-woody perennial. It's sold and used as an annual right now, but it's actually a herbaceous semi-hardy perennial. So it's a beautiful plant. I think it's it's from Africa. It's from I think South Africa, it's native
yeah,
to.
I believe so. And we're going to do our best to try to overwinter this in our greenhouse with our heating strip that we're going to get set up.
Yep.
So we are hoping that we can overwinter this and see it flourish next spring as well.
Totally.
But like Sean said, typically this is actually an annual in our zone, so that's kind of a bummer. But
Hey.
oh, and we still need to, we have 2 African daisies in our front yard. We need to pull those out of the ground. I just remembered that.
Yep, yep.
Okay, that's
Totally.
on the to-do list.
Yep.
Okay, first step.
So,
deadhead?
first step to deadhead. Let's look at the flowers. You can probably see from your vantage point there, we have some flowers that are opening. Oh, and by the way, this is the plant that actually, I can't remember. There's
Yeah, it
so many
opens
different
and
plants.
closes.
The flowers open and
Due to
close.
the light.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
light levels. So right now it's really low light levels. So
Yeah, they're
the flowers,
closing up.
yeah, they're kind of closed. They're not wide open. You can't see the center like the center of a daisy flower with those rays coming out.
I know, it's so cool
So,
when flowers do that.
Yeah. So we've got healthy flowers, we've got flowers
Yeah.
coming up, flowers to be, and then we've got dead flowers. Flowers that need to
Okay.
be cut back. So
Perfect.
to deadhead, when you're deadheading any plant, you want to take into account, the plant's health. You want to make sure that it can take the deadheading, and along with the deadheading too, you might actually get in there and want to shape the plant a little bit and take off more than just the dead flowers. And that's okay, it's up to you, but just make sure that you understand that when you do that, you want to look at the plant's whole health to make sure it can take that pruning and that removal of that tissue. So more on that later.
Yeah, and
So-
the cool thing about this plant, go ahead.
No,
you
it's
can
fine.
get started.
Oh, okay.
Is it does bloom in both the spring and the fall. So we are seeing the fall flush of growth right now. So that's kind of fun as well. So we can deadhead it and try to prolong it. And again, we're going to need to be mindful because we have some really cold, freezing weather coming up. So we're probably going to need to put this inside.
Totally. And what I'm doing right now, everybody, is I'm going in here, I'm finding the dead flowers, like you see, like you just saw me do. And like if this was a dead flower right here, I would come over to this one and I would take it back down to its point of attachment or down to the next growing bud on this stem, which is actually right here. This is the newest part of the flower, it's the newest flower coming up that's down below. I would cut this off right here just above this stem, so then this flower and this stem would then be very visible to everybody when it starts to flower. So you're actually, when you're cutting down, you're actually bringing those flowers up in a sense. So I hope that makes sense. So it's going to keep going here. Cut some stuff off here.
It doesn't look too bad.
No, this is looking
So
really
we'll get
good.
a couple of these flowers, and then we want to show you how to aerate because this little container actually could use some air,
Oh yeah.
some space. So we'll show you how to do that next, and then after that we'll add a little fertilizer.
So there's those. Okay. And what else do we have? Oh, we have these over
A couple on that side.
here. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're good.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
one
didn't
more.
really have too much going on. There's actually one right here. We just pinch this.
Oh, I can. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Got it.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Yep. I think we're good.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
So deadheading. That's our first step.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I beat Sean up with my poker here.
That was our first step, deadheading. Now next is aerating. And so what we mean by aerating is we're gonna actually create spaces, holes and spaces in the soil, in the pot around this plant's roots, because what happens is plants grow, everything settles, the water infiltrates, the least amount of resistance, least resistance possible through the soil, but that soil compacts and it gets harder and harder for this soil, and in this case this is potting soil. As it compacts, it gets harder for water to move through. And a lot of times water will go, when it gets watered, the water will move out to the sides of the pot and go down just the perimeter of the pot and go straight down, and none of that water actually gets in. A lot of the water doesn't get in to the center of these of the soil, to those roots for the plant to then take up. So your plants are always in a drought kind of level there, and that's not good. So we want to aerate. We want to create holes in space for the water to get down into, to get down to those roots, so the plant can take it up and stay hydrated. So to do that, thank you. To do that tonight, we're going to use this stake. It's a metal stake. It's plastic coated. This is just a stake you can buy off Amazon. We'll put the link down below. And so basically take the pointy end and just make sure to put it in the pot. And we've had questions on this before. When you do this, you do run the chance of maybe scraping or severing some of the plant's roots. It's going to happen. It's okay. It's not like you're taking all of the roots away from the plant, so it's going to completely starve and not have any water. So it's okay. It should be okay. Again, look at the plant's general health. If it looks healthy, if it's not under serious stress and completely almost died back, when you do this because of some disease or pest, this is okay to do. So just use your best judgment. But I mean, for us, for this, doing great. So we're just going to pop this down. What you do is you take your stake, push it down in the soil. Just give it a good push, get it down there as far as it'll go. Then you just take it up, and what we did there is we created that space, that hole for water now to infiltrate down to around those roots, where before it wasn't getting to them. So, and you can do this in a lot of your pots, a lot of your potted plants that have been even potted maybe for the last 4, 5, 6 months. I mean, even newly planted ones that you think might not need this. Go ahead and do it, and you're gonna see a vast improvement of the water uptake for the plant. And you can see, well, you can't see, but you just watch me. I did like a quadrant. I did a hole here, a hole here, a hole here, and then a hole here. So it looks like I did like every 90 degrees. There's 4 places almost equidistant from each other. And it's just me, I like geometric shapes. So that's what we did. So yeah, so we got 4 new holes. Next time this plant gets watered, it's gonna get a lot more water down around its roots where it really needs it.
It'll be pretty soon because we're going to fertilize next.
Yay, fertilize.
Here,
yeah, and I'm glad you said that, honey, because what happens is you need, if you're going to fertilize, you first need to make sure that fertilizer is going to get down to the roots where the plant is actually going to take it up. So you want to aerate first, then fertilize. If you fertilize first and then aerate, that's okay, but it's just going to be a little bit different. You might run the risk of actually pushing some of that fertilizer down in that hole. But I guess it's up to you. If it was me, I would aerate first, then fertilize.
I mean, because I'm thinking, like, hearing you say that, I'm like, well, if you push it down in the hole, it's not going to be bad because it's going to filter down that way anyway, right?
Yeah.
But it makes
if it was,
sense to me to aerate first.
Yeah. If it was me, I'd aerate first.
Okay.
Okay. So, fertilizer. Oh, it's over here. Here's our fertilizer.
Sorry, we're a little tired tonight. It's been a long day.
So, okay, so we're going to read the label because I haven't used this in a couple of months now. So, potted plants. So on the back of this is cool. So on the back they have vegetables and flowers. These are headings for how to apply this product. Vegetables and flowers, potted plants, and then trees and shrubs. This is a very versatile product, a very versatile fertilizer. So for potted plants it says use 2 heaping tablespoons per gallon of soil, or for larger plants use half a cup per 5 gallons of soil. So this is a little subjective. So gallon of soil, I don't know, that kind of looks like almost like a 1.5 gallon, 2 gallon pot to me. So
yeah, pretty close.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is 2 heaping tablespoons per gallon. So
I think that's probably plenty for this.
So 2 heaping tablespoons. And lucky enough, Allison's gone through and she's marked our measuring cup.
It's just so much easier.
She's already pre-measured things, so we just know just to fill it to that level. Isn't that cool? She's smart, huh?
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. She's smarty pants.
Lots of time savers when you're a middle school teacher for 13 years. Gotta think of stuff like that when you're teaching labs. Because they don't like to wait.
No, they do not. Okay, we've got our 2 tablespoons. We're just gonna take this, just put it around there like that. We'll do that. There we go. Yep, there we go. Got it around there, we're looking good.
Okay, and then next step would be to water.
Yep, and that's it.
And we'll do that a little later. We won't bore you with watering on.
Yep, but that's the
camera.
TLC. That's your fall flower plant care TLC right there.
That's it.
Deadhead, aerate, fertilize. Easy.
Easy.
So,
and then maybe water.
Yeah, water.
If you fertilize.
Yeah.
So here is a beautiful mum that we have. We actually bought this last spring, I believe. You forget when you get things. But we have some deadheading to do. It could probably use some aerating and a little fertilizer as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it?
Okay, sure.
Cool.
Aren't these just beautiful little flowers? Just love these. And since this is still a young plant, we're still working on, we're keeping this in a smaller pot and are hoping maybe, since this did, actually, I'm sorry, I think we got this last fall because we did overwinter this. Yeah, we did. So we'd like to expand it and make sure it grows bigger and healthier. But what I'm going to do is just snip off some of the flowers. There's not too many new buds coming in that I'm spotting. There's one right there.
Oh, yeah.
So I know it's a little difficult, but mums are in the daisy family. And often there are little tiny buds on the stem. You have to look for them because you don't want to snip them off by accident. So as I'm looking, I'm seeing some little tiny, oh, that one doesn't need to be deadhead. I almost cut one off that didn't need it. So I see a tiny bud right there. So I'm just gonna snip really carefully with our micro snips. Love these guys.
And pause, we need to take a squirrel pause. If you haven't noticed already, there's a squirrel behind us eating his heart content.
Oh my gosh.
So just squirrel time.
If you guys have been
Squirrel
watching
pause.
our lives, our squirrels are crazy. In fact, right before we started our live, I counted 5 of them. They're all chasing each other around the yard. They're hysterical.
In our last live, 2 of them ran right between my legs.
Yeah, they did. That was
Yeah,
funny.
we had to take a squirrel pause on that too.
No.
So.
They also make an appearance in our book that's coming up in February. So they're literally, these guys are the stars of the show. We have them in our book a couple times. Okay, so deadheading done.
Good job. Nice.
So,
All right, aerate.
aerate.
Woohoo.
So
Here we
this
go.
is a very tall pot, as you can see, and this plant probably only goes to about here, maybe, with its roots, but we're gonna go ahead and just, this soil is actually very soft because we recently repotted this, so this isn't too bad.
And if you're wondering, we didn't put spacers in here. We actually filled the whole pot with soil. You can use spacers if you want, but it kind of gets a little complicated and a little messy afterwards. So we just don't do it. We just fill the whole thing.
We just filled the whole thing.
We keep it easy.
Okay.
So good job.
Fertilizer.
Okay, fertilizer. Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and use 2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be great for that.
Just gonna spread this all around, and then again, we will water this in after the show.
Oh, meant to tell you guys. So nitrogen, sorry, not nitrogen only. The NPK. What nitrogen will do, why it's important to have in your flowers and your plants for their health, is because nitrogen is really good at promoting chlorophyll production. It's good at greening up your plants, basically, and it also promotes healthy growth. So if you have a high nitrogen percentage, it'll actually tell the plants, and the plants will just start to like put on a lot of growth, a lot of extra leaves and stems. But in this time of year, you don't want to do that. Again, that's why we chose to use this fertilizer, because it's got that small nitrogen percentage. So phosphorus is good for root production, root development, and flower health. And right now, even this time of year, your plants look like they're shutting down or it's getting cold. They're not putting on all that growth on top. The roots are actively growing all year round. They might slow down a little bit this time of year, but they're still growing and getting out there and finding more areas to infiltrate to. And then the potassium is great for plant, oh gosh.
Plant health
Yes,
and
yes. Immunity.
immunity.
Yes. Yep. It's good for plant immunity, and it helps plants tolerate more extreme temperatures like the cold, like we're going into. So these are all great things to know to put down a fertilizer right now for that TLC and to keep your plants healthy.
Exactly. Okay, so good call. This is done.
Done on a fertilizer.
What else? We have a couple more to
We do.
do here. Probably this one. We've got some beautiful mums up here that are
yeah.
kind of all spent and not looking so pretty right now, but we have a whole bunch of new flower buds coming in.
Yeah, we got some. Do you want the honors?
Go ahead.
No? Okay. So we got a couple here. We're going to get it here. Okay. All right. Let's take these bad boys back. Looking good.
So just cleaning it up.
Yeah, going back to those points of attachment and to promote the newer flowers. There we go. That guy's looking a little ratty. I'm going to take that one off. There we go. This guy, yeah, a little ratty. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, we got 2 more.
I think while he does that, I'm going to start aerating over here.
All right.
It's a little tough, so I'm glad we're doing this because I think
You really needed it. Actually, all of these needed
I
it.
know we kind of deadheaded. Now you might have noticed. Careful with this. So we've got the mum right here. We've got this beautiful pink Dianthus. We just highlighted this a couple weeks ago on a Friday plant chat, if you're not familiar, every Friday we focus on one specific plant in our garden. We teach you about it. We talk about some plant care and some uses around your garden, like landscape uses. So this was one we highlighted, and we got a lot of feedback on that one. That was a fun one. And then up front, you can't see this right here, we've got a beautiful winter pansy. Isn't that pretty? I love that.
Gorgeous.
It's so bright.
Yeah, they're looking great. Everything's looking really healthy. We're lucky to have them looking so healthy right now.
So we've deadheaded pretty much everything, aerated. But we could use a little fertilizer in that guy.
A little bit of fertilizer.
Snip this right here. Okay, looking good.
And these potted plants will go about 4
Just love
tablespoons
this
because there's
Dianthus.
a lot of plants in here. I'll just sprinkle that in there. Try and get it around, spread out there. Okay.
Okay.
Nice. Looking good.
Didn't take too long. We've kind
Yeah.
of been caring for this along the way, so. Okay, what else do we have? Want to do the Dianthus up front or this guy?
We can do this guy if you want.
Okay,
Yeah. Take some things down.
pull this over. This is a fun one. Everything's still kind of growing and taking a
Okay.
bit here.
Let's see. We've got some.
We have at least, what, 4 or 5 different types of plants in this container.
Yeah. Yep. We've got our mum.
There's a mum that doesn't have, we had recently deadheaded it, but there might be a couple more to deadhead.
Yeah. And there's a couple of new flowers coming in
good.
a little bit. So.
That was a pretty one.
Yeah.
We have a Gazania right here. This is fun. These are also known as treasure flowers. And actually they are also called African daisies, but not to be confused with the actual African daisy, because that's kind of a confusing common name that you might hear. But Gazania is, actually I'm not even gonna talk about it because that will be a Friday plant chat coming up.
Yeah, good point.
And we need to get on it because these are not very cold hardy. Being from Africa, they don't, they're not gonna do so well in the cold. See a couple we can deadhead right here. Oh, so what else do we have in here? We've got a beautiful orange viola, tiny little delicate flower there. We have another yellow winter pansy right here. And then we also have a little black-eyed Susan right here.
So on the Gazania, I wanted to point out, I'm taking these older flowers off. They are on their own stems, and those go down to the crown of the plant. Those are separate from these leaves. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go down, and you can do the same thing too. Come down on that stem, go down as far as you can towards the crown of the plant down below, and just clip that whole stem off. So, because you can see there's no leaves on here, so you're not really going to hurt the plant's ability to photosynthesize. So this is good. Just go all the way down to that stem, clip it, you're good to go.
Nice.
So
Actually, it doesn't look too bad.
no, I think we're okay. There's a couple more here we need to get.
Now, Gazania is another one that, and again, I shouldn't go into this, but I'm excited because we love this plant. It's probably not gonna survive over our winter, so we're gonna try to overwinter this in our greenhouse in a warmer climate. You basically have to treat it like an annual unless you live in a more tropical climate. So they're pretty well, they last, but then they take a little bit of work to try to overwinter. We'll see what happens, right?
Oh yeah.
It's always worth a try.
Got some stragglers on this side.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Looking good.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and aerate really quick.
Looking good. Looking good.
If you guys have any plant questions, fall related plants or anything, winter plants coming up, just go ahead and make sure and let us know in the chat or in the description down below.
Yep,
We're just showing you some cool or some fun new skills, I guess, if you need help with, some of the TLC, but we're always ready to help too.
Yep. Yep. You can email us too.
Okay.
So, okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, while Allison's doing that, I'm going to jump on this one. We'll get in here and get on this Dianthus we just transplanted. So
Yeah, we did. I know. So 2 tablespoons of fertilizer. Just going to spread that around. And again, we'll water this in after the show. And then we need to cover our hoses because it's supposed to freeze tonight. So one little winterizing tip, we're going to be doing this after the show as well. If you do have freezing temperatures coming up, like we do, and they're kind of sporadic through the next couple weeks, we are going to start winterizing some of our pots by moving them up by our house. That way, if we need them still, we can access them, but we will have them up protected by the house, right?
Yep, they'll get that residual heat from the house, and that'll help keep the roots from freezing and getting that exposure, that cold exposure that could actually hurt them. So
yeah, we don't want that to happen. Okay,
Good
we
job.
need some fertilizer over there.
Just a little bit.
Not very much.
Not
though.
very much.
No, it's way too much. Let's do like a tablespoon, maybe. Okay.
Nice. All right, looking good. Yep, this is our TLC for our fall flowering perennials and annuals here. So yeah,
Done.
This is remember, deadhead, aerate, and fertilize. It's pretty simple, but yep, just take your time. Yeah, your plants are really gonna love you for it, and they're gonna look good for a lot longer. So
that's our goal. Yep.
So
okay, I think that's all.
I think so
we
too.
just wanted to share that with you, and that took care of 5 of our containers that we needed to do anyway, right?
Yep.
So, coming up next Wednesday on our live, since it is right before Halloween, we've got a special Halloween live coming up where we're going to talk about some spooky, scary plants. We have at least one of these plants in our yard, and I'm sure we have other things we can find, but we're going to highlight some things around the world and different locations, so don't miss out. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yep. So with that, leave your comments and questions down below for us. We love hearing from you guys. Give us that thumbs up, let us know we're doing a good job, and subscribe to our channel so you get updates on our latest videos.
And we'll be back. We'll have our regular daily video coming back tomorrow. And yeah, you guys just take care, have a great week, and get out and enjoy your garden as much as you can, even if it's cold out.
Yeah. So see you tomorrow, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.